All right. Hello. This is Brian with WVGamers, and we're joined by Tic Toc Games, who wanted to tell us about two of their titles: Bio-Interstellar Ark, or B.ARK for short, as well as a title that released a few years ago on Steam, Wii U, Xbox One, and the PlayStation 4. It has recently found new life on the Nintendo Switch. So, thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. If you would, could you introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your company?
I'll start. I'm Mark Gomez. I'm the designer director on Adventures of Pip, and I'm also co-directing B.ARK with Michael Herbster. My role at the company is mainly doing design and sometimes art direction, and yeah, that's it.
And I'm Michael Herbster. I co-direct B.ARK with Mark Gomez, and I've been with the company for close to a year, and I've worked on a plethora of random games from previous companies like Yacht Club Games and Way Forward.
And I'm Emily. I'm the marketing manager over at Tic Toc Games. I pretty much take over PR, socials, that sort of thing. Tic Toc Games is a company based in Burbank, California. We also have a studio in the Philippines as well. It's like our sister studio. We all work together on projects. And we mostly make mobile games. However, Pip is one of our console games. It's kind of a baby to us. We started it on Kickstarter, and we're trying to jump back onto the console again with our upcoming game B.ARK.
Excellent. So, I guess let's dive right into B.ARK. So, that game, from what I see, is coming out later this year. Is that still correct?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So this game looks like it's kind of a super cute 2D Star Fox mixed with Gradius. Was that kind of the idea that you were going for, or what was the inspiration for this game?
So gameplay-wise, Gradius is definitely one of our North Stars, along with Parodius, which was a classic cute-em-up from the late 80s, early 90s. Star Fox definitely we've leaned into as well. I think our dialogue boxes definitely kind of fit that old mentality of like popping up in the middle of gameplay and not being too obtrusive and like kind of conveying the storyline. So players that care about that stuff can interact with it, and players that want to kind of push past it and see the gameplay can move beyond it and be able to still play the game.
Excellent. Yeah, I definitely think just on the art direction, this is gonna definitely have a lot of fans. So, what was the thought process with? Obviously, this is definitely geared more towards family oriented. Is that kind of the idea that you were hoping to go for, going for more of that cute style to bring the family together, especially with it has what 4-player co-op as well.
So we definitely were leaning towards gameplay-wise 4-player co-op being the allure for families. The game does support a lot of functionality towards people saving each other as well. Like if I was to die and Mark was willing to save me, I initially go into a death. No, oh, Mark's unwilling to save. If I was as soon as you are expelled from your ship, you are left floating in space, and other players can pick you up to recover you before you fully die from getting scrolled off screen, and then you can attach yourself as like an orbital pattern around the other player in a safety pod in order to shoot enemies still and wait for your recovery time to be up so that you can be back in the action with your mech again. So there's a lot of like simple tweaks and choices to make sure that the gameplay promotes cooperation while we still do a tally screen at the end of the game that promotes the competitive aspect of it as well. But another plus that we did for newcomers to the genre is, if you remember in Gradius or any classic shooter, collision above and below the screen usually is like a death sentence, like running into a wall. In our game, you're allowed to rub your face on the walls as much as you want. There are a few stages that do have damaging collision for the walls and the floor, but it's not an outright death sentence.
Nice. That'll definitely be good especially for children who are not nearly as good with these types of games. So that'll allow them to kind of ease into that, or actually even the parents who may not be as good, because obviously children these days are going to be way better than anybody in their 30s and 40s and whatnot. So
Totally true.
that is very true. I mean, so tell us a little bit about the story of B.ARK. How did it come to be in terms of like why did you? I guess just tell us about the story about it.
Yeah, I was just talking about this recently on a stream. So I think the idea was where's the origin of the story and how did it come to be? And I feel like the story was something that we developed from the certain needs that we wanted to develop in the game. So given that we wanted to do something that's family friendly, multiplayer, shmup themed, a lot of the different things of, hey, let's put animals together, let's make this space themed adventure. I think having that as a baseline helped us develop the story that we wanted to tell, and also making it family friendly. It kind of laid the groundwork for the story development. And so, as far as the type of story that we're telling, it's an adventure that comes from 4 animals that got launched into space that now have to return to Earth and try and save the planet with the help of aliens who've built them these specialized mechs that lean into each of their different animal pattern types. And so it's a nice story that tries to tell a middle ground between humans and creatures who are at war, and showing these animals that both lean towards nature and lean towards a lot of association with humans, and trying to make sure that they can cross that bridge on both ends.
Interesting. So you kind of mentioned that these ships have unique traits that's kind of correlates with their animal counterparts. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the unique features about each of the characters?
So for our supers per each mech, beyond the characters having individual stat differences as well, which let me run through those actually first. Lucio, which is our bear, has a higher amount of HP and moves a little slower. For our DPS character, which is Felicity, the cat, she can deal a lot of damage, but when getting hit, she dies or is removed from her mech the quickest. So primarily, she's the glass cannon of the group. Barker we have is the all-arounder, which is the dog character. He's able to turn enemies into frenemies. So any downed ships that he shoots down float to him and become extra shooters that follow behind him for a short while. That's his super. Felicity actually gets double cannon shot, and then so she gets multiple bullets at once. From there, we have Bear Shield, which is what Lucio's is. I'm going a little out of order. I'm sorry. And Marv, which is our fastest character, which is the rabbit. He is a little low on all the other stats, but his speed makes up for it. He's the fastest character out of the group. So think Toad from Super Mario Brothers 2. And his ability is time slow, so he can slow down enemy bullets and enemies that are flying at the players in the stage proper. All 4 of the characters have, from their super dupers, which are the supers that they have, can all actually super fusion with each other, and they all stack on top of each other. So for Felicity, anytime that she connects with somebody else as they're doing their super, as she's doing hers, she will gain an extra bullet on top of the 2 that she gets for a maximum of 5 bullets on screen if she combos with three other players.
So yeah, as far as the theming of the characters, we also just want to make sure that it's as intuitive as possible based on the different types of animals and how you'd imagine they interact with each other.
That sounds really neat. Each of them having that unique type of twist, and even just looking at them, you could kind of infer that they would have those types of traits. Because of course, everybody loves a dog, so they're naturally attracted to it. So that's neat. So with the co-op, obviously it's going to have local co-op. Is it also going to have the ability to do online co-op?
So right now we only have planned for initial releases online or couch co-op. We will be looking to other options and possibly other opportunities further down the road, though.
Awesome. And obviously this is being targeted towards the Nintendo Switch. Is there any other platforms this is intended to come to?
Emily, do you have the dates for PC or Steam?
Currently, we're looking into when we'd like to release the game on other consoles in the future, and we're looking into if we have the ability to do so, but we don't really have anything to say specifically at this time. We do know that if that happens, it won't probably be until 2021.
Okay. I assume you also that's also partly because the new systems are coming out here in just 2 months, so decide on where you really want to focus your efforts, I imagine.
Yeah, we really liked because we were making the couch co-op game. We really thought that Switch was a really great system to put it on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, is there anything else you want to tell us about B.ARK before we move on to the Adventures of Pip?
Did you want to talk a little bit about the hand animations for it, Mark?
Oh yeah. One thing that we definitely wanted to do up front when we were developing B.ARK was trying to really. I mean, I have a background in animation, and I really wanted to do something that's hand animated. I haven't done one in a while since A Boy and His Blob for the Wii U, and so this was an opportunity to try and do something that was hand drawn, and it turned out really nice. I think it was the right property to attempt it in. So if you take a look at the game, everything in there is drawn frame by frame, in between and colored. So there's nothing that's vector tweened or 3D. It's all traditional art, and I think that adds to the personality of the characters. Something that gives you that Saturday morning cartoon type feel.
Absolutely. I'm happy that more and more games are going back towards that sort of art style, because I think we've lost a lot with just everything being digitized in the way that it is. So it's nice to see that there is still games that's coming out that's using those traditional like drawing methods and whatnot. So that's definitely exciting to hear. And it's interesting that you say Boy and His Blob, because I remember playing the original one on the Nintendo. That was a lot of fun. So I was really excited when I saw that one come back out on the Wii. So that's very interesting.
Sorry, I said Wii U, but I just meant Wii.
Yeah. All right, so I guess that was us discussing B.ARK. Let's move on to Adventures of Pip. So, for anyone who's listening, Adventures of Pip actually came out a few years ago on the I guess partly current generation and also the last generation of the Nintendo Wii. So obviously you found a new home for the game on the Switch. For people who are new to the game, what can you tell us about the setting and about the journey of the hero in the game?
So again, because my background was in animation, I started work in games in the GBA period doing lots of character design and animation with pixels. And so when I wanted to develop Adventures of Pip, I had this idea of wanting to develop a character through all the different generations of video game pixel art. And that was the basic idea that I wanted to develop the game style upon it. And so we came up with Adventures of Pip, a character that starts off as a single pixel, and as he goes through the adventure, is able to gain the ability to evolve and de-evolve from different generations of pixel art. And with each evolution, there's a different set of abilities that he gains, but at the same time, there's reasons to de-evolve because there's different attributes that each evolution has as its own specialty. So it ties into the narrative that we want to do for the game, where it doesn't matter what size you are or what resolution you have, you always have something special about yourself. And that's something that the character learns throughout the journey, where he starts off in the kingdom where he's the lowest tier of people in the kingdom. And it's only after he goes on the journey that he discovers all of the different attributes that that he's special no matter
what. That's really neat. I hadn't actually thought about it to that level, but yeah, that certainly makes sense. I like it. Like it a lot. So with people who may have already played it in the last few years on those other consoles, what can new Switch owners expect to see? Anything new with this release?
So what we did is we went back to it and we saw the comments that people had. It's just mainly accessibility options, certain things that people felt like, you know, maybe we can speed up the run of the third evolution pip because he was feeling too slow. You know, it's hard to traverse back to the town, so let's make a quick traverse button. There's another thing where there's a lot of times where you want to collect coins, you defeat an enemy, and the coins just drop into a pit. So giving them the magnetize option as a default are all just like ways that we want to improve the experience. But we didn't add any additional features beyond those.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Is there any plans of pushing out like a patch to the older systems to give those the same capabilities, or is that something that's already been done?
Uh, since it was like 5 years ago, I don't know how much we're pushing onto the old consoles. I know that we really were trying to push. It was really great to get it onto the Switch because we really feel like this is the system that it works best on. I really like playing a lot of indie games on the Switch. I just love the Switch in general. I wish all the games worked on the Switch. And because it's so accessible, it's easy to take with you wherever you want. And it's easy to play a lot of these games in short bursts, especially a lot of the indie titles. And so I was really happy that we got the opportunity to put it out on the Switch and also to re-promote it to people who haven't heard of it.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's obviously rumors of a new Switch maybe coming around in the next year, so even more people will be getting their hands on the hardware, especially if it expands into the whole 4K realm. So all that can do is just help get more people closer to playing this game. So let's see what else. So I guess since this game's already been out, is there anything you want to tell people to kind of like introduce them beyond what you've already said about this game?
I mean, I think it's a really nice adventure to pick up. It's a platformer puzzler that really, to me, it's really fun to evolve and devolve and find different ways to run through the different levels in the game. And it definitely is fun for speed running. And yeah, I'd say pick it up on the Switch. It's definitely a different experience than trying it on the other consoles. It's definitely the system that I would want to play it on.
Yeah, and it's certainly an affordable option. So I'll definitely provide links to people to get them to the Nintendo eStore web store, and hopefully get some more people introduced to the game.
Awesome.
And I guess that's everything I had. Is there anything else you want to tell us about any other games that you have coming out, or any other games that you'd like to kind of just briefly talk about?
Um, I don't know if Emily, if you want to talk about the website. We do promote all of our upcoming titles on the website, as well as a Discord that we keep up to date with all the social posts that we're making.
Yeah, we're Tic Toc Games on all the socials, on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook. And we update everything pretty regularly. Sometimes we have specialized things that go onto different platforms. So if you are on all of them, I would recommend jumping on all of them. We also do a TikTok Tuesday, where on Tuesdays we stream about our upcoming games, so that you can ask the devs questions about the games or about games that have come out. And if we have anything that's coming up, we'll be sure to be sharing all that on those platforms. Currently, we have a demo with PAX for B.ARK, so gotta hurry up and get on that before before PAX is over, so you can try out the demo for B.ARK. But yeah, that's all we have right now. Mhm.
All right. Well, that sounds great. I'll definitely make sure to get this interview posted up in the next day, so then people will know how to get out there and try out the game, and look into the other stuff that you have on the website. So I really appreciate you all taking the time to sit down and interview with me, and we'll definitely get some more information out there, and look forward to what else you have in the future.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good evening.
You
too.
too.
You too.